Hello, I'm Simon from the Jerusalem team. This week, we are celebrating the holiday of Purim, which commemorates the deliverance of the Jewish people as found in the book of Esther. The story takes place in the land of Persia, modern-day Iran, in the 5th century BCE. Most of the Jewish people have been exiled from Israel and spread throughout the Persian Empire. The story begins as King Xerxes, known as Ahasuerus in Hebrew, invites his wife, Queen Vashti, to join a royal banquet. When she snubs his request, the king divorces her and appoints commissioners to search for a new queen. Esther is a beautiful young Jewish woman. She is an orphan that was raised by her cousin Mordecai. When the king comes looking for young women to fill the role of his new queen, Esther is taken as a candidate to the palace. She eventually wins favor with the king, who selects Esther to be the new queen. On advice from Mordecai, she hides her Jewish identity. Mordecai later uncovers a plot to kill the king, allowing Esther to warn him in time. Thus, Mordecai earns respect as well as a commendation in the royal records. However, Haman, the chief advisor to the king and the antagonist of this story, is not impressed with Mordecai, who refuses to bow before him. Haman schemes to murder Mordecai, as well as all of the Jewish people in the Persian Empire. Haman goes to the king and recommends that they kill all of the Jews, young and old, women and children. King Xerxes trusts Haman's advice and agrees, not knowing that he's also consented to the killing of his new queen. When it is announced that the Jewish people are to be murdered, Mordecai sends a message to Esther, pleading with her to speak to the king and save the people. "Who knows," he says, "but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this." Esther, perhaps terrified that the king might execute her for visiting him unannounced, calls for all of the Jewish people to fast for 3 days before the visit. When Esther enters the throne room, her prayers are answered. The king is pleased to see her and offers to give her whatever she asks. She, perhaps out of fear, ends up inviting the king and Haman to dine with her a few times. Meanwhile, Haman, excited about the massacre that's about to happen, builds a gallows to hang Mordecai. But his hopes are dashed as his scheme begins to crumble. The following morning, when the king, remembering how Mordecai had saved his life, orders Haman to honor Mordecai and lead him in a parade throughout the town. At the second dinner, Esther finally reveals her Jewish identity and asks the king to punish Haman. The king agrees, and in an ironic turn of events, Haman is hanged on the very gallows he had built for Mordecai. The Jews of Persia then move to protect themselves and slay all of Haman's agents and supporters, roughly 75,000 people in all. Esther and the Jewish people are saved. Mordecai is made into the king's new counselor, and Purim becomes an official Jewish holiday for us to celebrate for years to come. Thank you for joining our Purim Masterclass, and don't forget to check out our next video where Yoel shares about the meaning of the book of Esther.